Hey guys, it's Jackson Fulcher here, and I wasn't planning on making this video, mainly because I'd already done two videos on these before, and I wanted to do it in the same kind of fashion where I take a collection of bad movie-going experiences and put them into one video. But a reviewer that I really admire, Austin Putnam, had a similar really bad experience to the same movie, actually, and he made his own video about it. So in a way, I guess he inspired me to actually make this video. Plus, it just makes more sense for me to just make one singular video for really bad movie experiences instead of just compiling them all into one overlong video. So every once in a while you might see a video like this, but let's talk about this really bad movie experience I had for the second time I saw Lights Out. The first time was really good. It was a really small theater, like only 4 rows, but it was mainly packed, but no one was talking, no one was laughing inappropriately, they were reacting when appropriate, and for the most part it was silent. That was a really great experience. But now let's talk about Lights Out Round 2. Now the first time I saw it by myself, I went alone. The second time I went with my dad and sister. They wanted to see a movie, so I was like, hey, I can see Lights Out again if you want to see that. And that's what we did. Now, I should have known maybe there could have been some problems because we didn't go to the same theater that I went to see it the first time. We went to another theater, an AMC theater, that I have had problems with before. If you remember, my Muppets Most Wanted and Disney Nature Bear experiences, those were at that theater. I was supposed to see an advanced screening of 10 Cloverfield Lane, but that theater lost its power and the screening got canceled. Last year, Jurassic World, it was opening night. I was supposed to see it in IMAX. We paid this money to go see the movie, but then the projector messed up and we had to leave. I had to see it the next day. And now this experience just adds to the list of why I really can't trust the local AMC theater near me. So let's talk about it. So we walked in a little late. The trailers were just starting when we walked in though. We found our seats and we were sitting down. I was like, alright, get comfortable. Lights Out Round 2, here we go. But then I noticed, like in the first 20 seconds, I was like, wait a minute. The trailers are about to start, but people are still talking. And that's true, the theater was a little bit bigger than when I saw it the first time, and it had more people in it. One group in particular, a group of 3 teenaged girls who were utterly obnoxious. The first trailer they played was for the Mike Flanagan film Before I Wake. Now I'm looking forward to that movie, but what these 3 girls did, I couldn't stand it. Pretty much in the trailer at the end, Jacob Tremblay's like looking under his bed, but then he goes back up and there's a thing back there behind him and that thing screams and that's the big scare. Now, these 3 girls, one of them, when that scream happened, she screamed almost in perfect unison as that thing. Maybe it could have been the same pitch. It was that loud and ear-splitting, and I just wanted to go back there, slap him in the face and say, it's not that terrifying. And I'm not saying that part wasn't scary. It is a little scary, but you don't see me just screaming at the top of my lungs seeing that. You don't see me going, ah! It's usually just a, or something like that, just an appropriate reaction. This girl decided that she could scream at the top of her lungs because no one else is around her right now. It's just she and her 2 friends. She's totally at home right now. This isn't a movie theater. But what was even worse was that other people in the theater were actually laughing and making jokes about that girl screaming. Really? You had to comment on that annoying scream? You had to make jokes about it? You had to laugh? Are you serious? From that moment on, I knew that it was not gonna get better. But I still had some hope though, because even though there was one other trailer, the Suicide Squad trailer, where one of the girls literally yelled out the title, Suicide Squad! Look, I'm looking forward to movies too. I look forward to movies all the time. Suicide Squad, I'm looking forward to that, but you don't see me yelling out that name every time the trailer pops up. You don't see me yelling, Jason Bourne! Whenever I see a Jason Bourne trailer, don't see me yelling, Kubo and the 2 Strings! Every time a trailer for that pops up. The talking, overreacting was starting to die down a bit, and I was like, okay, maybe things are gonna get better. And before the movie played, after the trailers, AMC put up one last thing saying, don't talk, don't take out your phone, don't ruin the movie experience. Since they almost brought texting in the theater and people got upset by that, I guess not ruining a movie experience is really important to them now. So thank you, AMC, for trying, but it really didn't do much. Now, I've seen horror movies in theaters before, and none of them, and I mean none of them, had this kind of crazy, stupid audience reaction. Insidious Chapter 3, nothing. Conjuring 2, nothing. The Forest, The Boy, nothing. No annoying audience members. I've seen a couple horror films in theaters recently, and none of them, and I mean none of them, were as horrible as this one for Lights Out. The first 5 minutes, it's from the trailer, the girl from the original short. She's writing down something in a notepad, the lights go out for a minute, she waves her arm and the lights turn back on and the clothes rack is rustling, and that's when she heads to the break room type area and flips the light switch on and off, and there's Diana. I wanted to explain that to you so I can now tell you how the audience reacted. So when the lights go out, automatically some people started chuckling like, oh, here we go, and the girls back there were like, ah! And then the lights turn back on, they see the clothes rustling, like, oh, like I heard like ohs and ooh throughout the entire movie. Do you know how annoying that is? And the girls immediately started commenting about how they wouldn't do this. If they were in this situation, they'd just leave. And then the jump scare happens where Diana gets closer to the girl and they screamed, of course. And then the other dude that works there is walking around and nothing scary happened yet. He didn't see Diana yet, but the girls back there decided to keep commenting about, man, if I was this guy, I would have just left. I don't know why he's going there. I think I would have just left. I would have just listened to that girl. My sister even told me after the movie, like, dude, you were shaking when they were talking. And that is completely true. I was shaking. I was so frustrated because those three clowns wouldn't shut the fluffy duff up. Eventually, though, my sister said a guy came down and told them to shut up. Thank God for that guy, but that only solved a little bit of the problem because I could still hear oohs and ahs throughout the movies. Inappropriate laughter at certain parts. There's a scene where I knew there was going to be a big reaction from the audience because it's the beginning of the scene where all hell breaks loose. It's the finale. And as soon as that one particular thing happened, I was right. Everyone went, oh. So I listened to that throughout the entirety of Lights Out. That was my Lights Out experience. The first 5 minutes and throughout the trailers, listening to obnoxious girls screaming and commenting, an entire audience of people going, ooh, throughout the majority of the movie. And I do mean almost every scary scene, any scene that could be seen as scary, there was a reaction of some kind from the audience. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to react to something you see on screen, but if it's an overreaction, if it's obnoxious, if it's quite possibly ruining the experience of some guy like myself, then you should probably never go to a movie theater. If you really want to react to movies like that, watch them at home. Stay at home with your friends, because that's probably what most people do. They just go to the movies to hang out with their friends, and they probably don't even care about what's playing. The first time I saw Lights Out, I could tell, since no one was talking, I could tell they were actually invested in what was happening on the screen. From the way these clowns were acting, I could tell they could have cared less about the actual movie. They just wanted to joke around, make people laugh, instead of actually watching a movie. And one last thing before I wrap it up, there was a couple down to my left. It was an older man, an older woman, I think around middle-aged maybe. These two were also obnoxious. The woman took out her phone, and it wasn't like you could barely see it, like I just glimpsed over for a second and I saw it. No, the brightness was all the way up. So whenever she pressed the button to turn it on, all of a sudden I could just see it in the corner of my eye, and all of a sudden I was distracted by the text message that she was sending. And the dude would never shut up. He leaned over to his, I guess, wife, maybe girlfriend, but they look middle-aged, so I'm gonna say wife, and he started, like, talking, commenting about the movie still, like, I would have done this, I don't know why they're doing this, and if he was whispering, that would have been fine, but he wasn't whispering. He wasn't even attempting to be whispering. He wasn't trying to whisper, but maybe he whispered a little too loud. No, he was talking at a normal volume, like me right now. Listen to me talking to you guys right now. This is the volume that this dude was speaking while talking to this woman, and the movie luckily is louder than that guy, so for the most part I could barely hear him, but every once in a while the sound would die down a bit and I could hear him. I could hear him jabbering. I wanted to go down, take his head, and punch him in the face. And I also wanted to take that phone and beat him with it too, and then throw the remains of the phone at that girl, tell him to get out. I would have loved if I could just yell at everyone to get out unless you actually want to watch the movie. Which is just the big thing. If you really don't care about a movie, then why do you go to a theater? Why do you pay $12 if you just want to ruin the experience for everyone else? If you just want to hang out with friends and watch a movie, then just do it at home. And that was my experience with Lights Out. Walking out of the movie, I joke with my dad, like, oh, I'm so glad that the movie actually played the cast and crew audio commentary just to kind of make light of this situation, but in actuality, I was really pissed off. And I'm so glad I made this video, actually. It's kind of like therapy. But anyways, guys, do you have any movie-going experience that were just truly awful? Leave them in the comments below, and I just wanted to thank Austin Putnam one more time because he actually inspired me to make it. So thanks, Austin. Make sure to subscribe to him. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.